lot of this, a lot of cheap food for the most they can possibly put out. Factory farms churning out food in mass quantities. Now, if we just think about it for an instant, we would say, well, cheap food. There's nothing wrong with cheap food. We'd rather have cheap food than expensive food. But there is a true cost to this food, which we'll talk about. We don't get something for nothing, really. Okay. So let me write down what's going on in essence right now. Really, without exaggeration, our whole food system, especially in America, is basically composed of just 2 crops. You know, there are supposedly over 20,000 foods that we can possibly eat, but we have 2 crops. Anyone know what they are? Yeah.
Is one of them corn?
Corn, good. That's the big one, the Mac Daddy. Corn. What else?
Wheat.
Wheat is big, but it's not the one I'm thinking of. Actually, it's interesting you said that, because America used to be a wheat-based culture. We thought of ourselves as wheat people coming from Europe. So there is corn replaced wheat, and then there's a second crop now that has even gone right ahead of wheat. What would that be?
Rice.
No. Good guess. It's soy. Corn and soy. These are the staple foods of Americans. Michael Pollan, in the Omnivore's Dilemma, his groundbreaking book, he made a little joke in the Omnivore's Dilemma saying that Americans are just basically a piece of corn walking around on 2 legs. And it's not really much of a joke if you look at the standard American diet. Well, the thing is, at this point in time, it's not really corn and soy anymore. It's GE corn and soy. What's GE? What's that?
Genetically engineered.
Genetically engineered, right. This is what we're really making. So it's not even what you'd call a real food source or an age-old food source. It's genetically engineered corn and soy. Okay, where does this go? Where does the corn and soy all go once it's produced? Well, it's eaten, right? Mm-hmm. Some of it goes into industry. Okay, we know it goes to industry to fuel, but we're not going to talk about that right now. But basically, the corn and the soy are eaten. What's it eaten by? Humans.
Animals.
Great. Animals. Humans and animals. In fact, a third, at least a third, I should say, of these products are eaten by animals that are destined to become someone else's food. Okay? In and of itself, not the worst thing, though it's a little strange to spend all this time and acreage on feeding animals, but not the worst thing just to make that statement. But what is kind of bad is what animals are eating this food?
The animals we eat.
The animals we eat. But what animals specifically? What animals do we eat?
Chicken.
Chicken?
Cow.
Cows? Pigs. What do cows, what did nature intend cows to eat? Grass. So the animals that are getting fed, cows, pigs, these huge animals, but especially cows, let's stay with cows for a minute, they were not supposed to be raised on grains. This is a fact of nature. What's happening to these billions of cows that are in factory farms with limited space to move, subsisting on corn and soy? They're getting very sick. These cows get very sick. And if a cow in a factory farm, whether it's a beef or a dairy cow, gets very sick, do you think they get put out of their misery? No. They get medicated. So what's happening with these cows and pigs?
They put medicine in them and then
What?
humans eat them.
Right.
And they have medicine.
Lots and lots of medicine. In fact, 8 times the antibiotics times the antibiotics go into cows in this country, or I should say livestock, than the humans. So what a vicious cycle. We're creating this food to feed to animals, to get them sick, to feed to humans. The food is getting them sick. We're giving them antibiotics. The antibiotics is going into us through the residue of the antibiotics from the animals we're eating. Very strange system, right?